So, I've talked to you guys on this channel about the impact of the writer's strike, okay? Um, and the actor strike now. And I said, the last time there was a strike like this, there was a reality television boom. Because what happens is, with union actors and writers being on strike, that means that a lot of your favorite scripted shows, whether they be talk shows, whether they be like late night shows or regular scripted programming that you typically watch at nights along with your reality TV, all you're going to have left to watch that's new this coming fall, as it stands right now, at least, is going to be reality television. So, with the loss of scripted content that comes from that's not independent, let me just say that, okay? You're going to be what networks would typically do, and I understand it, is they would say, oh, okay, well, we don't have the scripted content, so we'll go to unscripted, right? And so we'll use, reality TV as a way to bridge the gap with content so that people still have stuff that they can consume, while hopefully the studios and the Actors Guild and the Writers Guild, they can work things out, and then we can finally get back to business. Because I don't know about you guys, but for me, I love scripted shows just as much as I love my reality television shows, right? I like a mix of both. I'm that guy. And so right now you have actually hotels in Los Angeles are striking as well. Oh yes. It's getting hard out here. I just literally learned that. So what we're looking at now is Bethenny is on, I don't want to say on a rampage, but she is definitely on a mission to make it so that reality television stars can start making a stand as well, because we know for a fact that reality television stars don't tend to make a lot of money. They don't get paid a lot. They don't get the same residuals. They don't get a lot. And there's even what the Bethany clause now in contracts, wherein if you bring up a product, or if you have product sales, then some of a portion of that can have to go to the network. So she was the first to say, oh no, you guys will not be having a share of what I'm building, of my empire, okay, just because it's shown on your television show. Because at that point in time, she talks about it, she made only $7,000 for her first season, which is still airing today on streaming platforms and on the network. You can still see those episodes. So Nene has talked about this before as well. She has. And she's also made it a point to mention some of these things in her previous grievances about the networks and how she felt like she was treated unfairly. And with Nene, there were things that I felt like were harder for the public to understand, mixed in with things that very much so are steeped in the truth of what's happening in the reality television landscape. And so I'm going to play you a portion of what Nene had to say in response to Bethenny calling out the studios and the networks. And I'm going to also talk a little bit, we're going to play a little bit of what Bethenny had to say as well. So I just want to give you guys some broad strokes of how people are responding. Okay.
Hi, guys. Okay. So many people are asking me my opinion about the things that Bethenny is saying on her social media about the actors strike and how it affects reality stars and things of that nature. I'm even getting requests to do interviews. Listen, here's my opinion in a really quick nutshell. Bethenny has an advantage that I do not have. So, with that said, Bethenny can.
And there are we can read into what she just said about Bethany having several advantages that she doesn't have. And one of the first I'm going to simply state, and it's probably going to make a lot of people upset, is Nene is a black woman. Bethany is a white woman. So the perception already is that there could be that, oh, well, Nene's a black woman. She's just coming across as angry. You know what I'm saying? And oh, but now that this white woman is saying something, it can be looked at as like, oh, well, we need to finally take this seriously. And I think that's perhaps one of the realities. It's a harsh reality that could be referring to. I'm making an inference here, an assumption, but that's kind of where I believe she's coming from, but in a very politically correct way.
Say things and people will get it and they'll understand it. For a very long time, I have said that there's a lot of unfair treatment in different areas of the reality workspace. Reality stars do not receive benefits. They don't have any like health benefits, any residuals. There's no union for reality stars. All of those things you see, like, hi guys. Okay. So when you see all of the memes and stuff that's out there, the way your likeness is used over and over and over and over again, and you don't get one red penny. I don't get a penny for all of those memes that you say out there. I am a part of Screen Actors Guild, so I do receive benefits on that side. Again, your likeness is used over and over and over and over again. They can run these shows for years and years and years and years and years, and you still will not get a dime from it. So I rest my case. I don't want to say too much more about it. I will let you guys see Bethenny's video. I feel like she will be supported a lot more than I will be supported. So good luck, everyone.
Um, I can definitely see where Nene's coming from, and I'm someone who has also sometimes questioned Nene's methods, right? Um, do I think that there's been truth to what Nene has said? Yes, but do I agree with her methods? No, not always. You know what I'm saying? So, situations can be looked at in a multitude of ways, and you guys may have your own opinions about it. But I looked at a comment and it's stated right here, and someone said, it really bothers me that no one truly listens when she speaks on these things. While the women on these shows have learned to make these platforms work for them, it is still a job, and her concerns are valid and should be explored. It's most certainly social capital, which aids in overall financial capital, but there is a problem. Bravo probably makes more from them than they do from Bravo. The discussion is worth having. Now, a lot of times people say like, oh, well, it's reality television. And we talk when you guys see the interview with Winter, I do ask her about this. And I think one of her response, which I won't get too much into, is mostly just in the reality television star, or especially a newcomer to reality television, is just wanting to make sure that the platform has liftoff, right? For someone like in Winter's position, she's just ready for, okay, can we just get the back half of the season going, right? Can we just continue to rev up this engine? But let's say in 5 years, Love and Marriage DC becomes the biggest phenomenon on reality television, similar to like Real Housewives of Atlanta or Real Housewives of New York, and the stars are able to really capitalize on it. Is them capitalizing on the moment and the financial gain from outside of the show, and maybe what they're making on the show, enough to make up for the fact that the network will likely still be able to play these episodes in perpetuity, but the stars of these shows may never get a single residual. Now, some people could say that, well, oh, this is what you signed up for. That's the contract you signed. So even in what Bethenny is saying, she lays out a plan, and we'll talk a little bit about that in just a second. She lays out a plan, and I think her plan is good. I do think her plan is good. And we'll talk about what she says right here in this caption. And shout out to Reality Chat for this bit of information. But I really want to make sure I shout out the source at all times. Is that the networks? It's highly unlikely that any network is going to go back and renegotiate any contract or change any contract. Whatever's out there is already out there, right? So that's probably to retroactively go back and then say, hey, we're going to be adding in these benefits. I just don't think it's going to happen. I just don't see the likelihood in it happening. But moving forward, I could see maybe some things being implemented, although I do, from what I've gleaned, there's been no response from Bravo or like Andy Cohen, because he seems to be the face of the response. I just don't know what they would say at this point. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no union, right? There's no union to back this movement that Bethenny is trying to make. Now, maybe there will become one as a result. I don't know. But there's no union to back it as of current. So there's nothing to respond to except the fact that Bethenny and is tagging and corralling reality TV stars, which may turn into a movement, which may make a difference in the future. But do I see it being a retroactive thing? I don't foresee that, unless there's some lawsuit that sets a precedence. Bethenny says this is a union. Conversely, okay, I just said there isn't one, but there really isn't. But she's trying to establish one. She says, I've defined fair and reasonable terms and consider those making zero on The Bachelor to a housewife making millions. This is a first pass at how I negotiate with my institutional knowledge and wisdom in the industry, with over a decade on 8 TV, with 10 books, 5 podcasts, multiple businesses, and what was the fastest growing spirits business in history. I know a contract. Looking into traditional TV residuals is like looking inside a beautiful mind. Content used later with no profit sharing and exploitation of hardworking talent is as archaic as calling empowered, independent women housewives, a term setting back women 100 years, then using them for drama. Now, this piece to me is interesting because the term housewife is used to refer to the stars on these shows, and it is a term that has become synonymous with a brand and a network. And it is also the brand and the network that actually made Bethenny her money. So in that sense, I mean, I guess the use of the term housewife, did she just decide that this is now a title that is no longer worthy of being used, or was it okay when she was on it? Okay, that is, I mean, and as I chop this up, like, please, I'm looking at this from an objective bird's eye view, right? That's how I'm choosing to look at it. I'm just trying to see it for what it is. Do I want the reality television stars to make the most out of their contracts in any situation. And if there is a union that should happen as a result, then I hope that is the route that they go. Because I do know that we talk about these people, we talk about what happens, and I'm going to play a snippet of a video that Bethenny has come up with, in which she addresses the ramifications of us watching these reality TV stars and what they say, what comes out of their mouths, and how we judge and critique and review it. But it's interesting to me that this term housewife for her is now archaic. You know what I'm saying? Because it had worked for her for quite some time, even though she was on a show called Housewives and she wasn't married. She wasn't technically a housewife, right? But it still worked for her because it made her millions of dollars. But I just feel like now to kind of, dump on the term, like, I don't know. I don't find it archaic. To me, it's just branding. Call yourself what you want. If you want to call yourself a pink, purple people eater, I don't care. Do it, right? Whatever it is, however you can get your coin, get your coin. Anyway, she says this is a reality reckoning, aka the reality revolution. This is the new Bethenny clause. I love that she's like taking it all under her wing, right? I love it. I mean, listen, it is what it is. I mean, there's a Bethenny clause for a reason. She says reality TV has existed for decades and sustained entertainment during the last strike and exploded. This is absolutely 100% true. She says this isn't for people like me who have thrived and succeeded and clawed their way to the top despite the odds. This is for the next generation. So I do like that she says that. I do like that she is trying to fight for that, because I do know that there is a space for reality television stars, especially when they're starting out, to have better deals. She says these are broad stroke terms subject to modification. This fight is just getting started. We're rogue and nimble and not entangled and unwieldy. The intention here is to affect change, get things done, and make history. I've listed some names who have contacted me and want to get involved. People not on the list are Vanderpump Rules talent and the Kardashians. She's calling them out. She says, ironically, these are the most powerful entities in entertainment right now with the most leverage. They should fight for others who paved the way for those after them. Shows like Summer House and others in production should stand down. Viewers should not watch this content. I cannot say that I technically agree with all of these statements. I personally do not feel that just because you are creating a movement, Bethenny, that everybody has to jump on it with you. Um, because it's just it's just exploding for you, right? You're just coming up with this, and just because you now have a plan doesn't mean that everybody else is going to move at the same space pace as you are, right? Especially when they're already comfortable. That's just the reality. Does that mean that I don't want them to? No. I mean, I think that if it works for the whatever is good for the reality television community is what I want, right? I want these people to be paid. I want them to live lavishly because I want to watch lavish lives, right? Um, but for a lot of these reality television stars, they are, some of them, especially the ones that are just getting started, are just like me and you and just still trying to get this bit of exposure, that are just trying to make it, that are just trying to get their next season out, you know? Um, and for the viewers, I mean, if you're not going to have any television shows to watch, you're not going to have any scripted shows, what do you anticipate the audience to watch? What should viewers be watching then? Do you, because they could always just come to YouTube where the independent creators are just making content and we're doing our thing over here. Absolutely. Yes, you can come right on over here and watch us. But I'm just saying, you're saying the viewers should not watch this content. Well, I mean, what do you expect them to watch? I'm talking reality right now, right? We're talking reality. She says this paves the way for nurses and teachers, essential workers, production members, and glam teams that will be inspired to create a model of their own reckoning. Now, I will say that there are unions, I believe, within the makeup community, the glam community. Somebody let me know. I believe that's the case. In my work with my friends, I believe that is the case. Change takes courage. I've alienated this industry and burned bridges with the entire network and streaming community in one fell swoop. This is not for the faint of heart, but it's for the greater good. And, like, I definitely think that, she's out here fighting the good fight. Okay. I'm not going to take that from her. But I just feel like I think that it's going to take some time. It's going to take some time. But what I will say um, is that in this post, I won't post too much of it because Bethenny also, I mean, she likes to own all of her content. And because it's on her page, I don't want to get too deep into it because I don't want this to be like this video to be taken down, but I will just play a bit of it and we'll talk about it.
Subject to modification. I did not buy the idiot guide to starting a union in 24 hours, but these are fair. These are ways that talent can understand compensation without having to try to audit a multi-billion-dollar powerful company.
Now, I will direct you to Bethenny's page. I'll put the link in the description for this post because, again, she's very judicious about, her content being her own, and I gotta respect that. What I will say, though, is this. I think that you should really watch this video. She lays out what I believe are pretty equitable terms for reality television stars moving forward. I think that I like that she came with a plan. She talked to industry experts And I think that what she may want to go into is have some type of consulting firm for negotiating reality television contracts, where maybe even she gets a piece, her firm gets a piece of the deal. I really don't know, but it does sound smart to me the way that she's kind of laid this thing out. But let me ask you a question, because a lot of people feel a certain type of way about Bethenny, and I understand it. Do you all feel like this is more self-serving than it is productive, or do you feel like she's really out here just fighting the good fight? Now, whether it's to me, it's whether it's a bit of self-serving, as in I am the Bethany savior, or whether it is for the greater good. I think the bottom line is that if it affects real change, I am happy with it. But let me know what you guys think. I wanted to take a nuanced look and kind of give you guys my thoughts, my opinions, because it really was something that I have felt like it's been percolating for a couple of days. I didn't want to touch on it too much at first because I just, I've been extremely busy. And number two, I just kind of felt like I kind of wanted to see what kind of momentum this would take. And I felt like it's taking some momentum. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I mean, feel free to pick apart any part of this video. Tell me what your thoughts are. I'm interested. With that being said, I will catch you all in the next video.